Kench.
And I wonder if Kalista will finally be open. It was banned the last 2 games. It is not. Because now G2 says, you know what? We do not want to risk you get first rotation Kalista. So obviously, they don't want to first pick the Kalista itself because there are all of these super top picks they want to get. And then Fnatic would just take Kalista in the first rotation. And that's what G2 wants to avoid. With the last ban coming in, Lulu could easily be one. But I don't think you need to ban Lulu against G2. Because I think if Perkz plays Lulu, that's good for you. And if Kikis picks Lulu, he's not on a tank top lane and he doesn't look that comfortable. So I like what Fnatic is doing.
Sure, he's not on a carry and that will maybe hamstring the lineup. Shen was the final ban. This is still 6-1. We don't have the rework Shen. Played that this morning. Actually pretty good. But first pick will be Corki. Flex comes out, instantly logged in, waiting for Fnatic's picks.
Yeah, so again, G2 didn't want Kalista to go over on the side of Fnatic, but then first picking the other AD carry, the 2 top tier AD carries, Corki and Kalista at the moment. I still want to see Corki mid lane. We haven't seen it in Europe. It is so, so good. Thing is, when Kalista gets banned away, the value of Corki AD carry just goes up, up, and up. But Fnatic can be so, so happy with the start to this pick and ban phase. You leave Lulu open, you don't jump into that trap. You take away a tank as well from Kikis, and you get Lissandra as a flex pick in your first rotation. Always fantastic.
Yeah, and you get Graves, which is another
bonus.
Pick, and Graves are just fantastic right now. Love watching some Graves with that Thunderlords and waiting for the next 2 pickups from Gamers 2. Looks like they're thinking about going for their bot lane here, and if they do lock in the Lucian, who is another one down from Kalista in terms of top AD carries, that would mean a mid lane Corki.
But it's way too early to show it for G2. There's no reason to pick it right now, unless you're afraid of Reckless taking that Lucian. But now you're already showing, basically, you're showing your bottom lane and you're showing your mid lane. And Fnatic has already picked a champion who's very good at engaging onto these AD carries. Fnatic can now basically say, okay, we know what they're building, double AD carry composition. We need something that can dive that back line because they're going to be so, so squishy. There's no split pushing component for G2 at all, so it's going to be grouping. They might have one guy up top lane, but Kikis again has mainly played tanks, so that's what you're expecting. So Fnatic can also just say, let's draft a super... Either we draft a 1-3-1 split push comp with double TP from potentially Lissandra, and we just always push down side lanes and the AD carries can never group. Or we just draft a massive teamfight comp with a lot of hard engage, and we just smack down the AD carries.
And they could already do either with the flexibility you have from Lissandra and Graves. It just seems weird picking double AD into Lissandra, who one of her greatest strengths is buying time by jumping in, popping her ultimate. The AD carry can't push forwards into her. And then you just don't do anything for like 2.5 seconds.
I like almost everything Lissandra offers against double AD carry, as you just mentioned, because she's also a fine split pusher. You can run teleport on her, you can put her in a side lane, and she can fast push these waves very, very effectively. Has great TP flanks against AD carries. And because Braum has come in as well for G2, there's no hard disengage. I would have expected then maybe a Morgana or Janna to kind of stop this engage from Lissandra from taking down an AD carry, but Braum doesn't really offer that. He has a massive zone he can give you. He has great ability to single out a target, but he doesn't offer hard disengage.
Or if they asked them to all group up in a bottleneck so he can ult them all at the same time, that would work. But yes, in open ground in like mid lane, for example, that's not going to work out. Ezreal was picked up with the Trundle, so probably going to see that AD carry. Have seen mid lane Ezreal as well.
It's a tough comp for G2 to play. Like there's zero front line. You have a 1-4 setup with Fiora as the split pusher, and you want to then group Corki, Lucian, Nidalee together to siege. But Fnatic can obviously see that. They should just pick some... If they want to put Lissandra top, you just pick wave clear here. You can easily take Lissandra into Fiora, and as long as your jungler is nearby and you don't obviously fall super far behind to an enemy jungle gank, and Fiora will then outscale and snowball out of control, that lane is very even in the start. And Lissandra can honestly just push it, and then you can take a wave clear mid. Or, potentially, you can go for like an Olaf if you want to go crazy and you want to like try and fight their Fiora early on, but I don't think that's necessary for Fnatic, and we talked about the hard engage. What's better against multiple AD carries? A Malphite.
Malphite, boys. And the Nidalee lock-in as well. We saw it once before. I believe it was from Gileas.
I hate Nidalee.
It was not excellent. And we'll just have to see how it works. Like, I just don't think it's as strong as the top-tier junglers right now.
No, and I think Nidalee is just so tunneled on like 1 or 2 things she does okay. Apart from that, she's bad at everything else. She can't tank anything. Like, her ganks requires you to have CC in lane to kind of set her up for the gank. She's super strong if she gets to one-on-one you know, in the early game. And then she can group and start sieging with long-range spears, but you often don't get enough gold to get enough AP to make those spears really, like, really strong. So her value out of sight of the early game, like the first 15 minutes, just like drops big time. Where Graves, who can build very Bruiser-ish, with more, and he builds Sterak's Gauge, he has a very strong team fight then. Nidalee just runs in and gets like one shot and it's just gone.
Yep, all of those points are very, very true, Martin. But there we go, have the coaches shaking hands as their teams enter the Rift very, very shortly. But here we have the full compositions ready to go. And as we get into this one, make sure you tweet at LOL Esports using those hashtags G2 win or Fnatic win. We'll be seeing on who you think will be taking this game as we get into the Rift. But not too long now before we get into this.
Just waiting it out. Just slow.
Waiting for opportunity. Here we go. Getting into game. G2 versus Fnatic. Getting into Summer's Rift.
A lot of Fnatic fans in the crowd today. People with Febiven signs, Fnatic flags and everything. They always have massive amount of fan support in the EU LCS studio.
Yep. Case in point. Some are even heralding Gamsu as the new Huni. After his first performance on Olaf, not too far wrong either.
I mean, he had a great start.
Yeah.
But then we haven't really seen Gamsu
There's still time.
do that much.
But now he's on Malphite. So.
Yeah. So Malphite is not a Huni champion. That is for sure. Unless he's like full AP Malphite and he will surprise us. Who knows?
Or the Iceborne Gauntlet build, which is fantastic.
I think that is fantastic. And I think it's good.
I think so too.
In this setup as well. You get early armor, cooldown reduction against the Fiora. Obviously, Fiora will do really well in lane against Malphite. She's always done well against him because she has the true damage. She has to sustain. And then later on in the game, Malphite can't really touch her. But you're not looking to 1v1 Fiora. You're looking to TP in, look at 280 carries, and say goodbye. Hopefully because you hit the ulti, not because you miss it.
Of course. Well, Spirit going into the bottom side of his jungle with Gamsu and looking for the lane swap-ups that are already set up for the double jungle. Has this been read out, though? It looks like it, as Kickers has gone down.
It's so often when we see these very obvious lane swaps, and there's no invade coming because it's also harder to invade now where minions are spawning at 130. So once you commit to one side, you have to like instantly move back to the other side to then do a camp if you want to then mind game them. Oftentimes, though, you just end up on that side anyway, and the team can swap around. So Fnatic will get, G2 will get 2v2 lanes, which is what they want, because let's highlight this again. G2's composition wants to basically win this game in 25 minutes. You have Nidalee, you have double AD carry, so late game team fights for you are so difficult against double engage, against blue build Ezreal, against even the pillar from Trundle, which can be super annoying for these AD carries when they're trying to like position properly. Only Fiora is the late game insurance for G2, and that's not enough. So getting standard lanes is very good for them, very important, and this is where Fnatic has struggled as well. They always fall behind in standard lanes, because also they pick weaker matchups, like Ezreal into Lucian. That's super unfair.
What do you think about Trundle picking up Strength for the Ages? Because we're seeing more and more supports do that, specifically the Relic Shield support, so you actually do get those income of cannon minions. But is it as strong as going for Bond of Stone, which Hybrid's gone for?
I mean, I guess it honestly depends a lot on the support itself. In like, does he want more base HP? Because he also thinks he can drag the game to late game and get it fully stacked out, which is what Fnatic is aiming for. And also the percent damage he would absorb in this case. Because he's obviously a support, against so much damage for G2, I probably would have valued getting Bond of Stone. But Noxiac trying out something new, and if he's able to stack it up, it's going to give him a lot of value later on.
Could be very strong. And wards come out. That's pretty much all that we're seeing here. Perks in the mid lane on that Corki, though, that you wanted to see, Martin.
Yes. I think Corki right now has very good matchups in the mid lane where if he can't kill them, at least he can push them into the tower. Thunderlords really benefit him so much because it's so easy to proc it in these early trades with Gatling Gun as well. And you're basically looking to just chip away in mid tower. Over and over, you're very safe with your Valve to escape ganks. And we know that G2 is going to play out this laning phase. And then around 15-16 minutes, they're looking to start grouping up and start poking down. Play around blue buff on the Corki. Get him to level 11, give him a Trinity Force, let him be that big carry for your team here in the start of the game.
We might actually see some package plays as well, because one thing Nidalee does have is some early game damage. Her spears got buffed in recent patches as well. Maybe the damage isn't comparable to Graves hitting him in the face with End of the Line, but they might still be able to make plays with the package, because sometimes it just expires and you just have to use it to clear a minion wave.
Yeah, and this is another thing that's going to be super tricky for G2. Graves is the only jungler who offers wave clear. Fnatic took him in first rotation, obviously, as we see so often. And that's going to be so key because what normally could have happened was that Fnatic would try and put the double teleport in side lanes, and then Ezreal would sit mid with no wave clear and Iceborne Gauntlet blocks. Obviously not enough for him, but now Graves can assist him. Into the line on the wave, kill it very quickly. That does stop quite a lot of the push from G2. I want to see how Fnatic wants to use it later on.
Yeah, Fnatic definitely have the tools to deal with what G2 have. As you mentioned, the champion select is a very hard composition to play.
Super difficult. One mistake, one big mistake in the early game, and honestly, you might have lost the game already. You cannot afford to fall behind if you're G2 in this case.
Well, this is a potential play that could get them ahead or put them behind if Trick decides to go into the top lane and gank. They're both full HP though, so fairly unlikely we're going to see a dive. But they did take away the Krugs as he heads back into his jungle. Kick is in the bot lane though with Gamsu. It's a Fiora Malphite matchup, so there's a lot of farming and there's a lot of hitting Malphite and him saying, okay, I'm just going to hit this minion now.
The first time we see Kick is on a carry champion. He played Lulu and he played tanks, Tahm Kench, basically. He is the guy we're looking at. We're saying, like, we praise G2 for having very strong individual players. Kick is probably the odd man out. We're like, not 100% sold on his ability as a top laner yet. Spirit might get a good gank on Perkz here, though.
Ruh-roh. Oh, jumps over the wall, looking for the lineup for the Q, but Perkz will flash away and respond with a decent amount of damage with a fast bomb onto Featherman and Spirit as they back away.
She does some early pressure on mid. Fnatic is not really under that much pressure in all the lanes. Ezreal will always fall slightly behind, but Ezreal is one of these champions who can always just kind of survive. You can always farm with Q from range. He's very safe. But it does mean that G2 will have the chance to constantly push in both mid and top lane. Should prompt Trick to walk into the enemy topside jungle and kind of take over that one and try and look for Spirit. But then you can debate. Nidalee's spear into her combo compared to Graves' end of the line into a wall. What does the most damage?
End of the line.
I would probably say end of the line. So unless Trick can like legit surprise Spirit, jump him without getting end of the line proc twice on him, I don't think he's able to take that 1v1 too easily. But this helps because now you're also fighting out in the river.
Yeah. And then you line yourself up for it. Kickers will jump forwards and challenge him to a grand challenge. But Perkz is there as well and collects the first blood over to Corki in the mid lane.
So mid lane is even at the moment. Bot lane is pushed in for G2. Why was Spirit on his own in the enemy jungle? That is such a greedy play to make. Yes, he won the deep wards, but that's not even the side you're looking to play around at the moment if you're Fnatic. That was very greedy, and he just get punished in exactly what G2 wants. And Gamsu now, well, he's gonna kill Kickers.
He's just gonna kill him. Okay then. Did he already use Riposte? Because all of that was based around being able to use the Riposte to block the ultimate and preempting it, but even after the ultimate was used, he didn't use it afterwards anyway for the slow.
There's a big question mark on Kikis playing a carry and how he would perform. Definitely not a great start, giving up a solo kill to Gamsu.
Man, Noxiac does not want Emperor to go back. 2 pillars, 2 stop recalls, worth the 4 tower shots he took. But he got that cannon minion for strength.
Yes, it is. Stacking it up. I like the build from Reckless as well. Tier pickaxe, you want to get the Mana Moon A, and then you get a Sheen. That's the best DPS build you can get as blue build Ezreal early on. So obviously Fnatic knows, okay, there will be a lot of action happening in about 5-6 minutes. Spoiler for everyone, 5-6 minutes, then the game should start really picking up the pace. So you gotta be able to match it. You can't just sit back and just only scale late game and never do anything, then you just start losing the entire map.
Indeed. Trick is going to be throwing over this blue buff to the mid lane. Currently ahead of Featherbin, plus having the extra first kill was very helpful. Went for the Sheen first as well. Makes it very difficult to trade against the Corki because he just does more damage than you. And going towards Phage as well. First item Triforce, very, very common. Featherbin looking for a potential invade or gank into the top lane. Has he been spotted? Well, he must have been spotted now.
So, seen by the little Spirit and a ward, but Kikis has no flash, so even if he sees them, he might not be able to do a whole lot. Then it's up to G2 to make a play on the other side of the map. Trick is down here on the bottom side, but they have to just try and rush down the bottom in case anything happens. But yeah, Corki build, very standard. Components for Phage are a lot stronger. Ruby Crystal and Longsword, compared to a Mana Crystal and Amplifying Tome for Corki, so better to get the Sheen for more early damage, and then components for Phage when you have that amount of gold. He traded from Emperor, he's level 6.
That was really nice. Because they were forced below the tower, they had to take all the culling damage.
This is what we talked about, how if Fnatic are looking to make plays on top side against Kikis and punish him more, G2 has to respond on the other side. They're doing it. I like this play. You know you can push into Ezreal. You know you have a strong early game jungler. Speed up the game. You want to get these side lanes down and then start grouping mid.
Oh, nice Winter's Bite. Should be able to get the stun as well. And Emperor jumps in, but the exhaust comes out. Maybe enough to keep Noxiak alive. Trick will come in, pick up that kill. Bam. Now Lissandra comes out and picks up a kill in return. Emperor, Hybrid, and Trick pay for that one kill.
So G2 got the tower. That was really good. But then they started chasing up. They saw that one possible kill in Spirit.
Well, this is not a good situation for Spirit, and he'll just straight up get out traded by Perks. Fervent and Gamsu are closing in, but they already used their ultimates. The ice shot doesn't even land. Nice play by Perks.
Spirit been playing a little bit too much dynamic Q here. I mean, first he was in the jungle alone when his waves or his lanes weren't able to help, and now taking that very crazy trade. Anyway, this is a good move by G2, but now they gotta respect double TP. But they see that one proc on Noxiak, they're like, okay, we can go, we can kill them, this is it. And then double TP happens behind them, and now you're basically done. Like, there's so little you can do when this happens. Take the tower, say thank you very much, we made a good play, step away.
A sign of things to come, maybe. This is also the Perks kill. I mean, there's not too much to it. He just out-trades Spirit.
I wonder if Spirit expected Perks to run near the wall, up the ramp, and then he would like hit him with end of the line into ulti. Yeah. And Perks just kind of stopped, and he's like, no. And he kills them.
I mean, in an open environment like that, not in the jungle, it's so easy to maneuver around end of the line. You have to fight in the jungle. Those are two fights that he took, one in the river, one in the upper bottom river, and you're never going to land the extra damage from end of the line. You just simply walk away.
Yeah. Spirit definitely helping G2 when it comes to getting a lead in this early game. This is a second play down. It's always multiple steps for G2 and how they want to push out that early game. Take bot tower, move your three-man group up on top side after, where you are stronger in terms of AD carries. You are stronger at the moment as a unit of 3. And I like the play again from them. Double TPs on cooldown. And now they just got to try and wave clear this bot side. You can see Perks coming down on your minimap. So G2 playing really well on the map at the moment, and Fnatic are way too slow to react.
Perks also had the package, so there has to be respect in the bottom lane from Reckless and Noxiak. In the 2v2, theoretically they should win. Kikis is trying to get in lane. The flash forwards, and the package comes across and knocks them both into Reckless. Oh, they both go down. That was beautiful from Perks into Kikis' play.
Yeah, really, really well played by G2. Honestly, just a good move top. Fnatic responding so late. Even saw Perks move down a few times. They're like, maybe we could stay. Start running and realizing the package is there. And sloppy play by Fnatic and really getting punished by G2. 4,000 gold lead almost. This is exactly what they were looking for.
The fans are still behind Fnatic though, still have that fan base, but fan votes do not win you games. And currently Gamers 2 being ahead in this one, despite a very hard composition to run, are doing very well in the early game. And even though we saw the potential of Fnatic's composition to shut down the squishy members in the backline from G2 in the bottom lane that we saw when they TP behind them, if G2 are just so far ahead that they're just killing them, then they could actually take this.
Yeah, that's the problem with Fnatic and how again they want to scale up, but the only wave play is Febiven and Spirit together. Spirit has been kind of caught out a few times, and then he's not been in position to clear the waves, where Trick has been running with his team. Every time Spirit was there grouping on a tower, Spirit should have been there as well, or Spirit should have mirrored the play with obviously his support and his AD carry, but that play on the bottom lane was just Reckless and Spirit alone. Noxiak wasn't even nearby. So where G2 managed to group up and push towers, Fnatic is kind of splitting up a little bit left and right, and never managed to get the same amount of power in the move they're trying to make. It's 3 towers to 0, 30 minutes in.
Quite weird. We're starting to hit damage spikes though. Mid lane finally just picked up the Triforce with the Essence Tree from the bot lane. Very common for the Spellcaster AD carries, the Spell Weavers. Top lane, Kikis has gone for the Titanic Hydra. Very nice as a pickup since you can fill your build out, and then when you feel like you have enough tanky stats, you just swap over to the Hydra. And you deal more damage.
Obviously offers you a little more fast pushing potential. Now that Tiamat doesn't proc on, although the Hydra doesn't proc on everything.
This is not good for Spirit, and he's completely poked away as a jungler as Dragon is up.
Just realized I called both things for Hydra. The damage component doesn't now proc on everything. Titanic Hydra does proc on everything and help you push out.
I knew what you meant, so I had to think about it for a second.
I just always call it Hydra. Anyway, G2 once again are getting to do exactly what they want with their composition. You got Power Spike on Corki, Trinity Force Sorcerer's Boots. You're gonna get level 11 for him with his rank 2 ulti, and now you're just looking to group. We're honestly just looking to have Trick, play around perks, rotate Emperor in once he pushes out his lane down bot lane, move him into mid lane. Constant chip away and tower, chip away and tower. You need pink wards though, behind you and next to you. Because you gotta spot that TP flank. You can see the pink ward here, near the mid lane bush. On top side, there's the same pink ward if you look at your minimap on the bottom side. So G2 is obviously investing everything towards mid lane, and they're trying to block every way possible for Fnatic to TP flank. Because that's the only way Fnatic can punish G2 at the moment.
Yeah, but even if they get close to punishing them, the ultimates from both Lissandra and Malphite will one-shot the backline. If they stack up, yeah. We've already seen it once this game.
And that's what G2 cannot afford. Because now you have the lead, now you have the tempo, you have to push. Don't overextend and then lose everything.
So Emperor is apparently running 18-12-0, so not going with the mind game build that we were talking about earlier, but he is running mana regen on his glyphs. So still confusing to me. I just don't see it.
No, it has so little value.
The maths just doesn't add up.
Now he also builds Essence Reaver, so like he has plenty of mana, and that little extra amount from his runes are gonna do absolutely nothing.
He's your next to Q every 3 minutes.
Well, if he kills some of that Q,
yeah, the value.
Then we see the value.
Yeah. Not this game, but at some point it will. Kikis heading down. He'll be finding Gamsu. Or Gamsu will be finding Kikis more likely. And he'll head into the middle lane. However, Featherman is split pushing the bottom lane. He will get this out of turret and has teleport.
G2 has to all in for this one, but the problem is that allows Featherman also to TP in. There's sadly not a great ward for him. The rest of Fnatic is here to defend. And that will be forced off.
It's good though, and Gamsu will have to block it, and into the line of the spear coming in from Trick will chunk him out of the fight as well. He's only gone for armor right now because he's been itemizing against Kickers, and now he's grouping. Nidalee is striking him.
And we talked about this, how Fnatic, in order to really play their comp and use double TP, it's Israel sitting mid. He doesn't have proper wave clear. Iceborne Gauntlet offers him a little bit of it, and yes, okay, if he has enough time, he can take it down, but they'll always give G2 some hits on tower. Spirit has to always be there first, and when the minion wave is building up, he used to use end of the line on it to clear out as much as possible in order for this double TP to work at the moment where G2 are so strong. But we've just seen Fnatic fall further and further behind. Trade tower for tower, but they lost mid tower now, so G2 are looking to go for next step. Sadly, when you play these squishy comps, poke composition, siege comps, the further in you get towards the enemy base, actually the more annoying it gets to play your comp. Because there's so many more ways now Fnatic can put wards behind you and then TP flank you. Mid lane is just 2 wards in the side bushes and then you're kind of safe. Step in further, you know, you need to have like a pink near the Raptor, you need to have a pink up, you know, north of the Raptor, on the other side near the Wolf Camp, like you need to have like 4 pink wards around you. And not even that might save you if there's just a ward in the lane just behind you.
There's a stall out period for sure. We've seen it in Challenger as well when people have tried these siege compositions. And if you can get over that hump, you just win. However, that is the chance for the defending team to actually come back in with the aforementioned flanks you were talking about from Fnatic. So they're also taking the top side of the map. It just depends what G2 are going to take off of this. It looks like it's maybe bottom tower.
Yeah, Fnatic is doing the same again. They're just trying to trade towers, honestly. Instead of trying to set up for a big team fight here, they're more than happy just taking top tower but lose tier 2 bot tower. That's where I prefer to see a team say, okay, we now traded outer turrets with each other, we've gained some gold. Now we're looking for that team fight play. We just talked about how many wards you can place behind them, how difficult it is for G2 then to push in. And that really slows down the game for G2. But if you keep trading towers, you now only have mid tier 2 to back. And once that is gone, G2 should have full map control and can start setting up for potential Baron.
Could be a major problem for Fnatic, but they currently have vision around the area. I believe they took the crab as well, so at least for the foreseeable future, at least for Baron spawn, they'll have that up. If they can maintain that, that's what they really need, because yeah, a Baron here would essentially end the game. However, it's essentially impossible to play a Baron anymore because blue trinkets exist.
Yes,
so.
That is true. And once Fnatic falls behind, they do tend to swap over to more blue trinkets. Actually, it was a mistake they made. What we saw, I believe it was last week, where they just stuck to the yellow trinkets and then realized they couldn't really do anything because they could never gain vision by moving in and putting them. So we see Reckless with blue trinket now. That's to spot the Baron.
Unlucky.
And Rift Herald.
Okay, I should take this one. Chick finding it very difficult to land those spears on a stationary target, but we'll get it down. Yeah, Fnatic did do that, but they were ahead in the game and then picked up the yellow trinkets, but then didn't swap them back. They're very good when you're ahead because you can place them in the enemy jungle and continue pressure, but depending on the ebb and flow of the game, you have to continue swapping them, depending on the game state. So
Notice here how Fnatic is putting Gamsu with the team despite his teleport. Gamsu should be sitting bot lane now and meeting that wave against the Fiora. If Febiven is spotted here, technically G2 could start rushing up mid lane. Because they have TP as well and they're pushing in this bot side. And that forces Febiven to be slowed reacting. Look here, the move at least from Kikis now.
But here comes the package from Perks.
Interesting.
Yeah, gets the W out just in time from Febiven, so he'll jump away with Glacial Path.
Yeah, it's obviously difficult to use TP from like 2 lanes right next to each other. So G2 are basically playing around jungle vision. And now they start pushing up mid, as we talked about here before.
Ezreal will clear part of that wave.
Oh, you already hit that point where you're like, I want to push, but I also want to respect your engage.
But those spears landing will help significantly, chunking out Noxiac, the culling as well for more poke, and that may just be enough to start taking away the health of this turret. Here comes the TP and the hard engage from Fnatic. Is it enough though? Here comes the jump in and the ultimate from Gamsu, a 3-man ultimate. Can they get the follow-up though? Gamsu has been locked down but is still chasing after. Now has to back away, and Perks is respawning damage onto Reckless. Jump forwards from Emperor. Can he get the kill down? Lands the first one. Spirit will have to jump away there. Still has his flash available, and Noxiac will back off. That was a 2-for-1 over to G2, and they get the turret.
And some of the same problems we saw from Fnatic last week against Unicorns of Love, where the engage synergy is just not there. It's like one guy going in, then the other guy's trying. Notice here, Febiven goes in, but the TP is still channeling here from Gamsu. Now he joins. Instead of there being a big wombo combo together to burst down a target and allow Reckless also to ult in and follow up with damage, it goes like one by one by one. G2 gets to disengage, re-engage, and pick up the kills. So G2 is still in a great position. Sadly for them, setting up Baron as a siege comp is equally as annoying as trying to push in further into the enemy base, because once you start that Baron, you don't have a tank, first of all, who can tank it. And once you're stuck in that Baron pit against Malphite, Lissandra, Trundle Pillar, I mean, you're dead. So like, you have to play it so safe for G2, but they've been doing so many things correct leading up until this point. Can they, the next 5-6 minutes, extend the lead, get the last outer turrets down, and then try and get a Baron? Then they can definitely close out the game very quickly.
That last team fight went so well for them because that's basically the perfect team fight you want with this composition, where you can disengage and re-engage, whereas Fnatic could not find the flank because they were being pressured so hard into their base. They didn't have time to set up that pre-ward, so they couldn't get the flank and they couldn't engage on Gamers 2, which is the big problem there. Pillar comes up, but there's no real follow-up from Spirit. The ultimate comes out for the chunk and the minion wave clear. Additionally, Featherman and Gamsu do not have their flash in the last fight, so there is a small period where Gamers 2 have a little bit of help if they do decide to pressure Baron. It's still very hard, but there's no flash ultimate from Gamsu, flash ultimate from Featherman.
Yeah, interesting also to see how G2 played that last fight. Hybrid basically just sacrificed himself, or he wanted to. As soon as the engage happened, he just moved forward, put down his ulti to try and zone as much as possible and his shield, and basically said, you guys can CC my AD carries, but if you cannot move through with the damage because of the zone I can offer as Braum, you won't kill them. Unless, again, the coordination is perfect for Fnatic and Gamsu and Febiven together hit that target. We might see QSS come in. Hexdrinker, I think, could be a good item here as well, because the burst damage from those engages is all magic from Malphite and from Lissandra.
I'd always like to see distortion boots on a couple members as well from G2. Like, the sooner you have gonna hold that fort for a second, as we may have that flank engage we're looking for from Fnatic. Gamsu is trying to jump in, looking for that opportunity. Emperor has been CC'd up by Featherman, but he's used his ultimate now going into the Zhonya's. Grand Challenge comes out from Kickers, following on to Gamsu. They pick up the 2 big engage tools from Fnatic, and they just weren't in range to follow up.
Once again, though, yeah, engage comes in from Fnatic, kind of one by one. Rest of Fnatic is too far back to really do anything. I didn't see who zoned them away, but Reckless is very low. Spirit is almost full HP as well, has ulti. Like, your whole combo is built on Ezreal ulti, Graves ulti, on whatever target Gamsu and Febiven locks down, and that burst should kill anyone. But G2 now picked up another win. They didn't even need the Baron.
Gamers 2, this could be potentially greedy with the respawn timers. However, they're going in for the win. Pick up the first Nexus turret. They may have to back off now as Spirit comes out, but if they get the pick onto Noxiac, maybe they can take more. They'll just back away as Baron is still alive, and going back and spending all of that gold they used accrued is probably the best thing for them. And the biggest thing from that is they managed to take the top lane inhibitor and have broken that base.
G2 right now is just getting everything. Honestly, Fnatic were way too slow in the early game. It is one of the issues Malphite has, that he's no way of stopping you from pushing down his tower. So like when G2 were just grouping so quickly with Nidalee, with Lucian with the Braum. Fnatic should just mirror the exact same thing, either as defense with Graves wave clear, or down to take towers at the same pace. But it was always so slow and then got caught out, ended up dying for it. Spirit gives up like 3 early kills. Really strange first 15 minutes from Fnatic, and G2 has honestly been playing this comp extremely well. And that's why they're now so far ahead.
Yeah, we never said it was a bad comp, we just said it was a hard one to play.
Sure,
And they've been playing it very well. The look of concern there from Daylor, and we were heading into this game saying, well, G2, they've done very well, but they've stomped out some weaker teams. How will they perform against Fnatic? They're doing extremely well against one of the top teams. This has really been a benchmark game for Gamers 2.
Now we're still back in the same situation, where G2 feel like they might need Baron to close out the game, but setting up that Baron is basically the comeback, potential comeback for Fnatic.
Yep.
And I guess G2 would have loved to get Inhibitor down on the bottom side of the map, so you had the super minions pushing there, instead of top side where it's too easy for Fnatic to clear them out and still be around the Baron. But you can still group up and start poking, and package is used.
Noxjack away from him, however, so it's not going to be perfect. And with the smoke screen thrown down.
Why is Gamsu not bot lane? He has TP.
I don't know. And the tower's just kind of going down to Kikis, and it will be dead before Gamsu arrives.
Okay, sure.
Okay, there's a free turret, and now Kikis will actually go into Gamsu, trying to get those vital procs off. Gamsu realizes it's too easy for him, will just have to back off to the mid lane, maybe try and engage. Emperor's a little bit chunked, so is Perks. Perks is just in the base for some reason. He will just flash out of there. And now Noxjack has taken the chunk. Gamsu will have to back off. And Kikis is looking for the flank from the sidelines. Gamsu dropping low. He's out of mana. And now the team can get the damage onto him. He'll have to flash away. So will Featherman. Gamsu didn't burn flash, but Featherman did. Now Featherman will be going down. Spirit is trying to do everything he can, but he just really can't do that much. Actually, jumps in, picks up the kill alongside Reckless, but he's had to put himself in a bad position to get that play off. Gamsu's come in from base, but what does he have? He has no ultimate, he has no carries left remaining apart from Spirit's damage.
And again, Fnatic are just so weirdly positioned on the map, just allowing G2 to constantly push in, poke again on mid tower, get a free bot lane tower. And honestly, G2 are just so far ahead, you know, they can just keep pushing in, and there's so little Fnatic can do.
Well, they're poking away, and Gamsu's trying to tank some damage up for his tower. Now he gets CC'd in place by the Winter's Bite, into the concussive blows. The tower goes down, and all Fnatic are being shoved away. And Gamers 2 just close in on the Nexus, should be able to pick this one up. And Gamers 2 take the game over Fnatic.
That was a super strange game to watch. I felt like G2 just got allowed to do everything they wanted, and there was almost no response from Fnatic except for one TP play in the bot lane where G2 is overextending. Outside of that one play, G2 honestly just quickly rotated around the map, kept fast pushing in with Nidalee and an AD carry, just buff him up, give him the attack speed, have the double range, and Fnatic were just always so far behind on the play.
There was a lot of question marks for me on Fnatic's communication. So many times we saw the engage from Gamsu Featherman, no one be there, maybe people being zoned away, specifically in the mid lane when Featherman jumped in, popped ult, then Gamsu was just still teleporting into the fight. There was a lot of problems there for Fnatic.
Tons of problems for Fnatic, but G2, they take, I mean, we have to respect.
Oh yeah.
They take a composition that is so hard to execute, and if you make like one big mistake in the early game, or if you're too slow at moving around and pushing, like you basically lose the entire game. But they played that so well outside of that one, obviously, over-aggressive move in bot side, but that wasn't enough to lose the game for them because they just swapped top, took 2 towers basically for nothing. Fnatic didn't even get the bot lane tower. And then when we're talking about like how, oh, normally you need to get the Baron here, Kikis is just pushing bot lane alone and nobody's there. He just takes tower and it's like, this was probably the worst game I've seen Fnatic play all year. Again, obviously, we haven't seen that much. But even looking back at last year, I know it was a bit of a different lineup. There was like one game at Worlds where we felt like they played absolutely terrible.